Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Nikki Fortunato Bass. I'm the Alameda County Supervisor for District 5, which is North Alameda County. So we all know that today is Halloween, and let me tell you what is scary today. It is scary to see your children go hungry. It is scary that this federal administration is willfully withholding $35 million in food assistance that would support 179,000 Alameda County residents. And it is scary that this administration is willfully withholding $35 million that would help our local economy, help our grocers and our local farmers. But what gives me hope today is that there is an amazing and diverse coalition of food justice organizations and local leaders who are standing together to make sure that no one in our county goes hungry. What also gives me hope is that just this morning, a judge ruled that this administration must release funds for food assistance. Again, a judge just ruled that this federal administration must release funds for food assistance this November. So we all know that food is a basic human right. Nobody should go hungry, especially our children, seniors, immigrants, unhoused, and families. Shame on this administration for its callous policies that are devastating our communities and causing yet another disaster. Never in the 61 years of the program has SNAP benefits been paused due to a government shutdown. Never in 61 years. But under the current president, it will happen tomorrow unless they actually release those funds. And yet, there is over $5 billion in reserves for an emergency fund, and thank goodness for our Attorney General, Rob Bonta, who sued this administration to make sure that those funds will be released. So we have been in a food crisis, and it's only getting worse. 1 in 4 Alameda County residents is food insecure right now. That is 400,000 individuals. And demand for food assistance is greater now than the peak of COVID. However, we do not have federal pandemic dollars to meet that need. On top of that, residents in Alameda County will lose about $70 million annually in CalFresh benefits as a result of this administration and H.R. 1, the federal budget bill. And now with the shutdown cutting off CalFresh to 179,000 residents in our county, that's a loss of $30 million a month in Alameda County. That's money that goes to our grocers and our local markets. So with the judge's order today, we are going to be waiting. We're going to be counting the days that that money will be released to our families. So as I said, what gives me hope is that there is an amazing county-wide network of food justice organizations and local leaders that has been and will continue to ensure that our neighbors do not go hungry. So together we've worked with the Board of Supervisors to make a historic investment in food security from our Measure W funding. We've allocated $16.5 million to support the food bank and its partner organizations with prepared meals to seniors, children, and the unhoused, food recovery, and nutrition programs. And today, I am very pleased to announce that in the last 24 hours, we have raised an additional $1.5 million for an emergency food program. That includes $1 million from 2 local foundations, $500,000 from the Crank Start Foundation, $500,000 from Eat, Learn, Play. In addition, it includes $500,000 from a fund that will specifically support smaller community-based organizations who are distributing and delivering food in our neighborhoods. So that $500,000 fund will include a contribution from my office of $100,000, and it will also include $200,000 contributions from Oakland Thrives as well as Alameda County Superintendent of Schools, Elise Castro. So thank you to everyone who is stepping up in this moment of need. So right now our message is clear. We need to come together as a community to feed everyone. I want to thank not only those who have contributed funding in the last 24 hours, those who have advocated for the Board of Supervisors to invest in food security. I want to also thank the many restaurants who have stepped up to provide free meals to CalFresh recipients, and the individuals who are committed to buying groceries for their neighbors. And finally, if you need food assistance, please call us or visit our website. The phone number is 510-635-3663, and the website is foodnow.net. So next we are going to hear from a number of leaders in our community. I am so proud to introduce our fearless and esteemed representative on the U.S. Congress, Lateefah Simon.
Well, good morning, and Supervisor Bass has long since, prior to her being elected to this position, a fighter for low-income families, as everyone behind me I've learned from the greatest. I want to thank Supervisor Bass and members of our elected East Bay family. And I think there is and should be a great hand of and round of applause for District Court Judge Talwani. Now, in Talwani's decision just moments ago, she made clear to the Trump administration that while the $5 billion held in reserve wasn't enough necessarily for the full month, but that the administration, had no right to hold that $5 billion and in the process starve not only children, but the disabled and the elderly. In that process, what the USDA will have to do, we'll come to learn in the hours and days moving forward. But one thing that I know about Alameda County, one thing I know about the town, one thing we know about East Bay and these electeds behind me is that we take care of our own. We take care of our own because our elected leaders come from the ground. They're very, very clear that the infrastructure that we have, our food networks, our philanthropic supports, our ecosystem of NGOs who are hell-bent on ensuring that our folks, our families, our seniors, our immigrant communities, our faith-based communities are woven together to ensure that we keep thriving. The last thing that I want to illuminate again, and I'll do it again and again and again, this was initially a choice by the Trump administration to hold hostage resources from low-income families all over the country, from Detroit to Orlando, from Oakland to New Orleans. And it took the federal bench, it took a woman on the federal bench to say absolutely not. Not on our watch will we starve millions of those among us. I want to thank you again, Supervisor Bass, for bringing us all together, and for the mayors and for our food banks, and again from our organizers right now at organizations all over the East Bay who have taken their time and they're sorting groceries. So while there may be a gap, we don't even know what that gap may be. Maybe hours, maybe days. We will take care of our own. And I am going back to DC to send the message back that in the East Bay and California's 12th district, we have a tapestry committed to ensuring that our families are going to be okay throughout this administration's wrath on communities. Thank you all so much.
So we have, again, an amazing network of organizations, including our food bank and numerous partners in the food justice community who are stepping up and who always step up. Next, I want to introduce Reggie Young, the Executive Director of the Alameda County Community Food Bank, who will speak to our Emergency Food Assistance Plan.
Thank you, Supervisor Bass. Thank you all for being here today. My name is Reggie Young, and I'm the Executive Director of Alameda County Community Food Bank. And I will say it is with reluctance that I stand here in front of you today. We at ACCFB believe that food is a basic human right that everyone should enjoy, and that food insecurity is a solvable issue. And so to be here in this moment, knowing and seeing this coming from afar, to us is devastating. Devastating for our organization, devastating for our network of over 470 partners, devastating for our community members who rely on our resources. Prior to this challenge, we were already in a food crisis. We were already seeing levels of people coming to our pantries higher than at the pandemic. Now with the government shutdown, as well as the pending SNAP cuts, that's going to be more exasperated in the wealthiest country in the world. For us, this is shameful. And for right now, it is our moment in the East Bay to respond to that and be effective in that response to ensure that everybody in our community has the resources that they need to be successful in this time. And so we're so thankful for the Board of Supervisors, for the elected officials, for foundations like Crankstart and Eat, Learn, Play, for their support in this effort in this moment, because it's necessary for our community. Right now, we are mobilizing our network. We're purchasing a ton of food to come into the community so that we can get those out into our communities throughout Alameda County, Albany, Fremont, Livermore, Pleasanton, Oakland, all over the county. We're trying to get those resources out as quickly as possible, and so we're leveraging all of our dollars in support of that effort in this moment. But this does not happen in a vacuum. We are part of an ecosystem of food system partners that provide a number of resources for our community. The food bank can't do it alone. We rely on our small grocers. We rely on food rescue organizations. We rely on this ecosystem of partners to also allocate resources in support of our community in this moment. Right now, if you need food assistance, please look at our website at foodnow.net. If you want to support, please go to accfb.org for volunteer efforts, for fundraising, and so forth. This is our moment in the East Bay. You heard it earlier, East Bay tends to take care of its own. This is a moment for us to take care of our community, and I know we will do so, because we've done so many times in the past, and it's built into our DNA. Thank you, and really appreciate your support in this moment.
Thank you so much for your leadership during this time at the food bank. Next, it's my honor to introduce the Mayor of Oakland, Barbara Lee.
Thank you and good morning. First of all, thank you, Supervisor Nikki Fortunato Bass, for convening us, but more importantly for your tremendous leadership on behalf of our most vulnerable communities. And thank to all of our partners, our elected officials, our food banks, our nonprofits, all of those who have come together to really show Alameda County that we are definitely stronger together, and that this coordinated response shows what's possible when we support our neighbors during very difficult times. And I want to just thank our woman warrior, Congresswoman Lateefah Simon, who has not missed a beat. And thank you for being our voice. Thank you so much for informing us the current really horrible environment in which we're faced here in Alameda County, but also for making sure that Alameda County is front and center in this fight for the most vulnerable. You know, I was in Congress through a couple of shutdowns. This is the cruelest yet, the cruelest yet. I'm standing here as someone also who understands personally what families are going through. I raised my 2 children on food stamps. It wasn't a handout, but it was a lifeline that kept food on our table while I was doing every single thing right, but still struggling to make ends meet. Today, over 77,000 Oakland families 160,000 across Alameda County have lost federal food assistance. We have this reprieve for a minute, thank God, and they depend on this to feed their families. But I want to be clear. We are working together to not let anyone in Oakland go hungry through no fault of their own. We have 22,000 children and 16,000 seniors in Oakland who woke up today without food assistance that they relied on. Also, let me remind you that this is about $35 million a month in food purchasing power that's been stripped from our community. That's an important economic fact, and it's an economic crisis for our entire community. And so we're working around the clock, my office, along with our partners, and with county leadership, food banks, faith leaders, and community organizations to mobilize our entire food security network. It's amazing we're talking about food security here in the United States. We usually think of food insecurity, famine, food insecurity in other countries. And here we are in this country, the wealthiest and most powerful country in the world, talking about how we mobilize to feed people. Shame and disgrace. We're also launching an initiative with our Faith Leaders Working Group. Our faith communities continue, as they do consistently, to feed the hungry. They're working with us as key partners. Now let me just speak for a minute directly to our immigrant families. Oakland is a sanctuary city, and that means something. We will not allow fear of immigration enforcement to prevent you from feeding your children. Our police department does not cooperate with ICE. When you come to a food distribution site, to a community center to receive assistance, you are safe. No one will ask you about your immigration status. No one will report you. We are partnering with Alameda County and community organizations to ensure that every family, regardless of status, can access the food and resources that you need. This is our moment here in Alameda County because we're here to stand together to say we are our brother's keepers. We are our sister's keepers. Whether you're a restaurant owner who can offer free meals, and thank you to the restaurants who are already doing this, a business that can make a donation, and thank you to our business community who have begun this process of donation. You heard earlier from our supervisor the amazing list of partnerships, or a neighbor who can give what you can give, $5, $1, $2, you name it. We need you. If you're a CalFresh recipient wondering where to turn, help is here. The Alameda County Community Food Bank is expanding distributions through the county, so visit the website foodnow.net for resources, and you know that your city and your county leaders are fighting for you. For every one meal the food bank provides, SNAP generally provides 9. So we can't replace that entirely, but we can and we will surround our families with support and do everything we can do to not only replace it, but once this is over, then we used to say build back better, but I think we have to use this moment to recognize that even before this crisis, people did not have access to the amount of food that they need to feed their families. So we've always been a county and a city that rises to the moment. So let's keep moving forward together and make sure that our community knows that we are here with them, will be, and continue to mount this effort until this crisis is finally solved. Thank you again.
Thank you, Mayor Lee, for your leadership and for reminding us how essential CalFresh benefits are. Next, I want to invite someone who will give us a personal perspective on what it means to be a CalFresh recipient. Please welcome Shantisha Fluker.
Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Shantisha. I'm a mother and a proud resident of Alameda County. Tomorrow, my family and I will not have our SNAP or CalFresh benefits because of the government shutdown. And honestly, I don't know what we're going to do. These benefits are what help families like mine keep food on the table. Without them, I'm forced to make impossible choices between paying rent, keeping the lights on, or feeding my children. The situation is frightening, not just for me, but for so many others in our community who are already struggling. Food prices continue to rise, and SNAP helps to bridge the gap for working families, seniors, and people living on fixed incomes. Without it, too many of us will face empty refrigerators and possibly empty stomachs. That's why our local food banks are absolutely essential right now. Organizations like the Alameda County Community Food Bank and others across our neighborhoods are stepping up to make sure families and the most vulnerable people still have access to nutritious foods during this shutdown. They are the backbone of our community's response, making sure no one is forgotten during this government shutdown. But our food banks can't do it alone. The need is growing, and without strong support for SNAP, they are being stretched thin. We must come together, community members, leaders, and policymakers, to protect programs like CalFresh and ensure that families don't go hungry because of political gridlock. As a parent, it breaks my heart to think about what tomorrow will look like. No mother should have to tell her child there isn't enough food. SNAP isn't a luxury, it's a lifeline that gives working families a chance to stay stable, healthy, and hopeful. So today, I'm asking our leaders to act urgently to end the shutdown, restore SNAP benefits, and support the communities that are going to be impacted. Because food is not a privilege, it's a basic human right, and no one in Alameda County or anywhere in this country should have to wonder where the next meal will come from. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shantisha. She said it all. Food is a human right. No one should go hungry. And we as leaders and food justice organizations are here to say we have your back. We will not let you, your family, your others go hungry. Next, I have the privilege of introducing our state senator, Jesse Arreguín.
Well, good morning. Food and health care are essential for life. And so it's shameful. It's shameful that Trump is using food as a bargaining chip. This is in addition to the catastrophic cuts that H.R. 1, the big ugly bill, will bring about very soon to nutrition assistance for people all over the United States. There's no excuse to withhold emergency funding, and thank you to the judge for the right decision to release these emergency reserve funds that were specifically there in the case of an emergency. Cutting off benefits to millions of Americans, that's an emergency that requires an emergency response. Trump has proven that he does not care about those in need, would rather focus his efforts on building luxury ballrooms instead of addressing the everyday needs of Americans. But California and here in the East Bay, we will not turn our backs on those in need. And we are fighting the Trump administration to ensure that people receive the benefits they need to survive. And that's why we joined a successful multi-state lawsuit to force the federal government to open up funding that already exists to allow SNAP benefits to continue to the 5.5 million Californians and 179,000 Alameda County residents who rely on this life-saving assistance. We're also working to expedite the allocation of $80 million that we approved this year in the state budget to support our local food banks. And we want to augment that investment when we come back in January to increase food assistance for our food banks and for our food insecure Californians. I'm proud to chair the Senate Committee on Human Services, and I'm committed to joining my colleagues in the legislature, including Assemblymember Bonta, who chairs the Health Committee, to increasing funding for nutrition assistance in food banks to help address the significant loss in benefits that we know will be coming. No one should have to live in fear, not knowing how they're going to feed themselves or feed their children. We have an ability to feed people, and Trump is not going to stand in our way. As elected officials, we're here to do the work of the people and ensure that our constituents' needs are met. Food and health care, to make sure basic, essential things for life are met. It's not just our job, it's the morally right thing to do.
Thank you, Senator. And next I have the privilege of introducing State Assembly Member Mia Bonta.
Thank you so much, Supervisor Bass. I'm Assemblymember Mia Bonta. I have the honor of representing the beautiful people of Oakland, Alameda, and Emeryville in the California State Legislature. And I wish we were gathered here on Halloween to be able to celebrate our children who are looking forward to dressing up in all kinds of superhero costumes and super history costumes. But instead, we have to face the fact that millions of our families across the state are facing a hunger crisis manufactured in Washington, D.C. Due to the ongoing federal government shutdown, which we are entering into our 4th week, thank you to our Congresswoman for being such a warrior for us every single one of those days. Our CalFresh benefits have been paused. We know that starting tomorrow. That means 5.5 million Californians, including 179,000 right here in Alameda County, will lose the food assistance they depend on to feed their families. Like Shantisha, I was raised by a single mom who had to do some wizardry every single month between figuring out how to make her books work so that she would be able to make a choice to pay the rent, fill the refrigerator with food, or make sure I had the ability to go to the doctor. So it's not lost on me as chair of the Assembly Health Committee and also co-chair of the Select Committee on CalFresh Enrollment and Nutrition that this crisis is not an accident, but it is incredibly avoidable. It is avoidable for 2 reasons. The first is because of the incredible power of not only the elected leaders who are with us today, and so thankful for the supervisors and our county representatives for showing up every single day, our nonprofit leaders like Alameda County Food Bank as well, City of Alameda Food Bank, and others, but the individual leaders in our communities who are going to be the nanas, the papas, the grandmas, the lolas, who open up their homes. And I want to make sure that we pay attention to our faith-based organizations right now, who are satellite organizations that have the recourse and already the trust in their community, who have already opened up their congregations to be able to feed our hungry in this moment right now. The reason why this is an accident, no accidents, and I want to be clear about this, that is preventable, is because the incredible animus of this Trump administration. It is absolutely despicable that Donald Marie Antoinette Trump would spend money on opening up a ballroom and make it a seeming choice between feeding our community members or providing them health care. I wanted to just spend a second on this because I went onto the websites of a couple of U.S. government sites, and what I saw there was absolute propaganda about the radical Democrats, those radical Democrats who are shutting down our services. That is propaganda, 100%. That is why 23 Democratic attorneys general across this country filed suit, and I'm very thankful that we were able to win that suit. I just also wanted to bring up the fact that in California, along with the 2 million children who rely on CalFresh, our 1 million seniors who rely on CalFresh, we also have 330,000 UC and CSU students who rely on CalFresh. 20% of our UC students rely on CalFresh. But I know, and I'm so thankful to be a part of a community that will make sure that we're standing in this breach right now, this breach of trust by the federal administration, the Trump administration, and this denial of our basic human rights for food. And I'm thankful that in the California State Legislature, we have allocated $80 million in state funds to stabilize food distribution, $2.5 million of which is being advanced right now to Alameda County Food Bank to keep our families fed, and that we will come back in January with a vengeance to make sure that we are fighting against hunger in this state, in the county of Alameda and in the state of California. Thank you.
Thank you, Assembly Member. Thank you, Senator. Thank you to all of our state representatives who are fighting against hunger and fighting for the well-being of our families. At the County of Alameda, I also want to acknowledge that our social services agency provides the CalFresh benefits, provides for our families, and I want to thank the leadership and, very importantly, the frontline workers who provide that support. And next, it is my honor to introduce one of my colleagues, Supervisor Elisa Marquez.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Elisa Marquez, and I'm honored to represent Hayward, Union City, Newark, and portions of Fremont. I'm standing before you, and this is very personal. My maternal grandparents are immigrants. They migrated here from Michoacan, and they're not criminals, they're not rapists, they're entrepreneurs. My grandmother's 96 and still plays a role in our family business. We've operated a restaurant for 59 years. So providing the basic essence of food is a priority. It's something I hold dear to my heart, and I'm offended with this administration constantly attacking our communities. I have calluses on my hands to show you my entire family has been working since we could walk. We contribute to this community, and this administration continues to attack us. Quite frankly, I'm disoriented. Every other day it's another attack, right? But I'm just really proud to stand in front of you with my colleagues, with community, to say not in Alameda County. I want to thank the voters of Measure W. Because of their commitment to our community, this county has been able to invest a total of $16.5 million. That would not be possible without our community. So in this county, we believe in one another, we support each other, and we're problem solvers. So please, if you know anyone that needs help, you can call the emergency line at 510-635-3663, or you could visit foodnow.net. Just know that in this county, we're solution-oriented and no one will go hungry. We have your back. We will continue to fight for you. If we have to reconvene here every Friday to attack this administration, we will do that, because in this county, we're workers, we're problem solvers, and we get the job done. So thank you to my colleague for organizing this event. And in this county, we will not let up, and we will not allow anyone to go hungry. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Supervisor Marquez, for your leadership. I'm proud to be your colleague. So next, I want to introduce our county superintendent of schools, Elise Castro.
Thank you, and thank you to Supervisor Fortunato Bass and this incredible array of folks who represent Alameda County values, represent California values, at a moment when a lot of public educators are being urged to stay in their lane, to not politicize education. I gotta ask, what does it even mean to try to fill brains on top of empty bellies? How does that even make sense? Kids can't learn when they're hungry. And they can't learn when they're worried about their families. And frankly, they can't learn when they're worried about their state and their nation. Schools, the 18 school districts in Alameda County, are a critical piece of our food infrastructure. They provide meals, often 2, occasionally 3 meals a day to the 210,000 public school students in this county. But on top of that, schools are hubs of community service. They are organizations that often have food pantries, food cupboards, that often, in partnership with community-based organizations, are already part of distributing food to our communities. And that network is going to be under a lot of strain. And we at the Alameda County Office of Education and our districts, we believe in tackling the issues that are obstructing the well-being of the students in our community. I am thrilled that our office has $200,000 to contribute to a partnership to be able to support local CBOs to enhance that community structure. But I also want to be clear, this was always children's money. This was always for these young people. And this is what government is supposed to do. is protect our most vulnerable and provide these services. So I want to say a thank you to this government behind me and also to the school district leaders who are going to find a way to manage this on top of everything else, because we're fundamentally in the business of raising children. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent. And next I have the privilege of introducing Hayward's Mayor, the Honorable Mark Salinas.
Thank you. My name is Mark Salinas, and I have the honor and the privilege of serving as the mayor of the city of Hayward. I also have the honor and privilege of serving as the president of the Alameda County Mayor's Conference. I also like to acknowledge my two colleagues, Vice President of the Mayor's Conference, Mayor of San Leandro, Juan Gonzalez, and of course, Madam Mayor. It's always good to be in the town, as they say. Of course, I want to thank Supervisor Bass, Fortunato Bass, for inviting me to join you today, for your leadership in addressing one of the most urgent and immediate issues facing families in Alameda County today, and that's food insecurity. According to the Healthy Alameda County website, Hayward ranks number 2 and number 5 amongst the top 5 zip codes in the with highest percentages of families receiving SNAP benefits. In the Hayward Unified School District, nearly 14,800 students, or 74% of the entire enrollment, receive 2 of their 3 meals a day from school. Most of these children are in grades kindergarten to 6. These numbers tell a story. The story is about Alameda County families doing their best, but still needing a community that stands behind them. As a mayor, I have come here to stand shoulder to shoulder with local leaders and professional administrators who show up every day to make sure families have food and hope. Together, we are here to say clearly and firmly to families across Alameda County, we have your back. And if you can just scan all the folks standing behind me, this Alameda County government works. And this Alameda County government stays open. And it stays open in critical times like this. President Harry Truman said, "A nation is only as strong as the health of its children." That quote reminds us of our moral responsibility as a city, as a county, as a country, to ensure no child or family goes hungry and is left behind. Let me close with 2 brief points. If you are in a position to give, please give to the Alameda County Community Food Bank. Every dollar makes a difference, and their work reaches families in every neighborhood in the county. Give what you can, and give knowing that you are helping a child and a family in a community. Second, if you are a parent or a caregiver in need, please do not hesitate to help. The food bank and our partners, including 5 Seek Siva, a mobile food organization serving multiple counties, are here to serve you. They are trusted partners with cities. They are trusted partners with community organizations. And their goal is to serve families and children. And I want to end on this last point. Today is Halloween, and today we're going to see ghouls and goblins all over our cities. And I just wanted to encourage, while the federal government may not be open and may be dysfunctional, that kids can count on this, that when they go out this evening and they go out and knock on doors, that they will be safe, they will be healthy, and this county, these cities behind me, will not let them down. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Salinas. Well said, and it is a privilege to have 3 of our cities represented here, Oakland, San Leandro, as well as Hayward. So again, We, as elected leaders in Alameda County, as food justice organizations, including neighborhood organizations, and our food bank, we stand united in protecting and standing with our kids and our families. If you need food, please call 510-635-3663 or go to foodnow.net. So we will take just a couple questions before we break.
I know that the federal ruling just came down, but can you kind of walk us through what you know? Is there going to be money tomorrow? Is there going to be a delay for a few days? How does this work? What does this ruling mean?
Thank you.
So we know what you know. The ruling just came down. My team and our NGO partners, legal NGO partners, civil rights partners are reading the opinion now. One of the things that we can be assured of, despite the process post this ruling and how those resources will trickle down to the counties and to individual folks, you heard it here today. If you are hungry in this county, you will eat. You will eat. And the resources that we have talked about today, they are there for families and seniors and disabled folks, and like Ms. Bonta said, and for students. So one of the things we are committed to doing is keeping the public updated with what the federal process will be. And again, I am extremely, extremely excited that there are members of our judicial bench, federal judicial bench, who want to do right by the American people, sans the administration not wanting to feed children. So we'll keep you updated, but what we know as of tomorrow, there is food available in Alameda County.
Okay, Natalie.
So I just want to clarify the $1 million that's aside from the $500K fund that was raised in the past 24 hours. Will that go to the food bank, or how will that be used? And as part of that, is the county considering, should the November delays continue, a system like San Francisco and Contra Costa County are considering, which is giving prepaid debit cards to SNAP?
Thanks for that question. So to clarify, the additional money that was raised over the last 24 hours includes $1 million. It's 1.5 total, but $1 million, which is $500,000 from Crankstart Foundation and $500,000 from the Eat, Learn, Play Foundation. Those funds will largely go to the food bank for procurement. The $500,000 emergency fund, that is $100,000 from my office, $200,000 from the office of Elise Castro, our county school superintendent, as well as $200,000 from Oakland Thrive. That particular fund is going to meet the need of funding smaller neighborhood-based community organizations who can quickly get food out the door into our communities, including home delivery, which is so important right now. There was a question asked in terms of whether Alameda County will also have a program like San Francisco's for gift cards. We need a minimum of $5 million to get to scale and issue gift cards. There was an emergency call today with some funders this morning where we made that ask. If we can raise at least $5 million, then I think we can get that program started. So we are not out of this. Food has been a constant crisis. It's not going to end when those CalFresh benefits start flowing. It is something we have to continue working on, so I do urge anyone who wants to contribute. There's the option of the food bank and also Oakland Thrives, which is helping to be an anchor for that emergency fund to smaller CBOs. Last question.
Just for clarification, the Measure W funds that you mentioned a little bit earlier, is that included in the 24-hour raising of funds, or is that something separate, and how much is that would be then provided to the food banks?
So Measure W is a county-wide general sales tax, a half-cent sales tax that will last 10 years. The board has set aside 20% of that fund for an essential services fund. There's about $258 million in that Measure W Essential Services Fund. We have made 2 allocations for food security totaling $16.5 million, and that goes to a variety of things, including the food bank, senior meals, food recovery, as well as making sure that we're feeding the unhoused and young people. We can give you a breakdown of that offline. So again, thank you. Okay, 8.3 for the food bank.
One quick question. If you take SNAP money out of the local economy, can you talk a little bit about the impact locally? I mean, I know the families are struggling. That's terrible, but what about the economic impact on businesses and whatnot?
Sure, so this was touched upon. So the economic impact every single month of not having CalFresh benefits in Alameda County is about $35 million. So when you think about all those EBT cards being used, they're used at grocery stores, including a lot of small groceries. They're used at our farmers markets, supporting our local farmers. So the impact is tremendous. We are already hearing from Chinatown markets, for example, and many farmers markets about what the impact will be. So it's definitely our children, our families, our seniors feeling the pinch in terms of not being able to feed themselves. It is also many of our local businesses that will be impacted. So we need to get that federal money out the door as quickly as possible. All right, again, if you need food, please call 510-635-3663 or go to foodnow.net. Thank you everyone for coming and for making sure we're protecting our children and families.